Hello, my friends. I hope you are having a peaceful day. Today, I want to tell you a very special story. It is a story about a queen who lived more than 2,000 years ago. Imagine a city by the sea. The wind smells like salt. White buildings shine in the morning sun. Ships from many countries fill the harbor, fishing boats, trade ships, warships. In the middle of the city stands a great library. Inside, thousands of scrolls fill the shelves. Scholars read and argue in soft, quiet voices. This is Alexandria, more than 2,000 years ago. And in the royal palace, a young girl is reading. She turns a page in Greek. Then in Egyptian. Then in another language. Her name is Cleopatra. She was beautiful. She was smart. She spoke many languages. Her life was full of love, power, and danger. If you enjoy slow English stories like this, please subscribe to the Historyline English. We share a new story like this every week. It really helps us. Now, let me tell you about her story. She was born in the year 69 BC. Her family was not Egyptian, they were Greek. They were called the Ptolemies. They had come to Egypt with the army of Alexander the Great, almost 300 years before Cleopatra was born. They built palaces. They built the great library. They ruled, but they stayed Greek. Most of them never learned the Egyptian language. They lived inside their palaces. They spoke to their own people through translators. But Cleopatra was different. She loved learning. She studied science. She studied mathematics, music, and philosophy. She read scroll after scroll in the library. And she did something her whole family had never done. She learned Egyptian. She wanted to speak to the farmers, the priests, the soldiers, in their own words. People said she spoke many languages. Some say 7. Some say 9. We do not know the exact number. But we know she had a hungry, careful mind. Her father was King Ptolemy XII. The Romans gave him a nickname. They called him, the flute player. It was not a kind name. Rome was growing stronger every year. Egypt was rich, but soft. Cleopatra's father knew this. He sent gifts to Rome. He paid them gold. He tried to keep them happy. But in the end, he was a king who needed Rome's permission to sit on his own throne. In the year 51 BC, when Cleopatra was 18, her father died. Now she was queen. But there was a rule. A queen had to share power with a king. So Cleopatra ruled with her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII. He was 10 years old. In their family, brothers and sisters often married each other. It was a strange tradition. But it was the tradition. At first, they ruled together. But really, she ruled alone. She was 18. He was 10. She made the decisions. She met the foreign visitors. She controlled the money. The boys' advisors did not like this. They wanted a king they could control, not a smart, strong sister. Slowly, they turned the city against her. They said she was dangerous. They said she did not respect tradition. After 3 years, they pushed her out. She was 21 years old. She lost her throne, her palace, her country. She went east, into Syria. But she did not cry. She did not give up. She began to build an army. She spoke with local leaders. She made promises. She was coming back. Then, suddenly, the world changed. A Roman general arrived in Egypt. His name was Julius Caesar. He was chasing another Roman, his old friend, now his enemy, a man named Pompey. Pompey had lost a great battle in Greece. He came to Egypt to ask for help. But Ptolemy XIII's advisors had a different idea. They killed Pompey on the beach. They thought this gift would make Caesar happy. It did not. When Caesar arrived a few days later, he was angry. Pompey had been a Roman, and they had killed him like a stray dog. Caesar walked into Alexandria and moved into the royal palace. And he stayed. Cleopatra heard the news in exile. She understood at once, this was her chance. If she could speak with Caesar alone, she might win back her throne. But there was a big problem. Her brother's soldiers controlled the streets. If Cleopatra walked through the city gates, she would die before sunset. So she made a plan. A clever, strange, beautiful plan. One evening, a small boat slipped quietly to the palace. A man stepped out, carrying a large rolled-up sack on his shoulder. He told the guards he had a gift for the great Caesar. They let him pass. He carried the sack into Caesar's private room. He set it on the floor. He pulled the cord. The sack opened. And out came Cleopatra. Imagine Caesar's face for a moment. He was 52 years old. He had seen 1,000 strange things. But he had never seen this, a young queen, smiling up at him from the floor. She spoke to him calmly. She told him about her brother. She told him about Egypt. By morning, Caesar was on her side. This made the boy king's people furious. They started a war inside Alexandria. Caesar had only a small group of Roman soldiers. They were trapped in the palace. Caesar ordered enemy ships to be burned in the harbor. The fire spread. Some say part of the great library burned that day. Many books were lost forever, books we will never read. The war went on for months. Finally, more Roman soldiers arrived. The boy king tried to escape across the Nile, but his boat sank. He drowned in the river. Cleopatra was queen again. She and Caesar spent the next months together. They sailed slowly down the Nile, past the pyramids, past small villages where people came out to watch their boat pass. She became pregnant. She had a son. She named him Caesar Ion, Little Caesar. Later, she traveled to Rome with her son. Caesar gave her a villa outside the city. Some Romans were curious about her. Many were angry. They did not like a foreign queen so close to the center of their world. They whispered that Caesar wanted to be a king. And in Rome, that word, king, was the most dangerous word of all. On the 15th of March, 44 BC, a group of senators killed Julius Caesar. They stabbed him many times in the Senate. He died on the cold stone floor. Cleopatra was in Rome when it happened. She took her son and went home to Egypt as quickly as she could. Nobody knew what would come next. After Caesar's death, Rome fell into another civil war. Two men slowly rose to the top. One was a young man named Octavian, Caesar's adopted son. The other was a strong general named Mark Antony. Antony had been Caesar's right hand. Together they defeated the men who had killed Caesar. Then they divided the Roman world. Octavian took the west. Antony took the east. And the east included Egypt. Antony needed money for his armies. He sent for Cleopatra. They met in the year 41 BC, in a city called Tarsus. Cleopatra arrived in a way nobody could forget. Her ship had purple sails. The oars were silver. They moved to the sound of soft flutes. Servants dressed as gods stood on the deck. Cleopatra herself sat under a golden cloth, dressed as the goddess Aphrodite. Sweet smoke rose from the deck. People left their houses to come and watch. Antony was meant to question her. Instead, he came to her ship for dinner. He stayed. They became lovers. Maybe it was love. Maybe it was politics. Maybe both. With Cleopatra, it was usually both. They had 3 children together, twins first, a boy and a girl named Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene, and later another boy, Ptolemy Philadelphus. Antony spent more and more time in Egypt. And back in Rome, Octavian was watching. He spoke to the Roman people. He said Antony had forgotten his own country. He said Antony was the servant of a foreign queen. He said Cleopatra wanted to take Rome itself. This was clever. It was also useful. It gave Octavian a reason to start a war. The war came in 31 BC. The two fleets met at sea, near a place called Actium, on the west coast of Greece. The battle lasted for hours. Then, in the middle of the fight, Cleopatra's ships turned. They sailed away. Antony followed her. His remaining ships, left alone, gave up. Many of his men felt betrayed. People still argue about what really happened that day. Was it a plan? A panic? We do not know. Cleopatra and Antony returned to Egypt. They tried to find new friends, new allies. Nobody came. Everybody could see who would win. 1 year later, Octavian's army marched into Egypt. There was one last small battle. Antony lost. Then someone told him a lie, that Cleopatra was dead. Antony could not bear it. He fell on his own sword. But he did not die at once. Servants carried him, bleeding, to where Cleopatra was hiding. She held him. He died in her arms. Octavian's soldiers found her soon after. They did not kill her. Octavian wanted her alive. He wanted to take her back to Rome and walk her through the streets in chains, in front of cheering crowds. For a queen, this was worse than any death. She would not let it happen. On the 12th of August, 30 BC, Cleopatra chose her own end. Some say she let a small snake, an asp, bite her. Some say she used poison. We will never know for sure. She was 39 years old. With her, the long story of ancient Egypt ended. She was the last pharaoh. After her, Egypt became a Roman province. The kings and queens of Egypt were gone for almost 2,000 years. Before we finish, can I ask you a small favor? If this story is helping your English, a quick like really helps the channel grow. And I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Here is my question for you. Do you think Cleopatra truly loved Caesar and Antony, or do you think she used them to protect her country? Maybe both. Tell me what you feel. And if you are new here, please subscribe, so the next story finds you. Now, one last thought. When I read about Cleopatra, the thing I remember most is not the battles or the ships. It is a younger Cleopatra, sitting alone in the library of Alexandria. Sunlight on the floor. A scroll open in her hands. She is learning Egyptian. None of her family had bothered to learn it. But she wanted to speak with her people in their own words. Languages opened doors for her. They let her stand in front of Julius Caesar and speak without a translator. They let her stand in front of Egyptian priests and be understood. Her mind was her real power. The beauty came second. And you are doing the same thing right now. Quietly, in your own room, in your own city, you are listening to a slow voice in a language that is not yours. You are opening a door. Maybe a small one today. But these doors add up. They lead somewhere. Thank you for spending this time with me. I will see you in the next story. Until then, keep listening, keep going, and take good care of yourself.